Welcome. Today, this is Alchemizing Energy, aka DJ Genesis Detroit, and we are here with a special guest that I have been watching his platform lately over the past month and a half, and he's been really bringing the knowledge when it really comes down to what's going on in the community, when it comes down to police brutality and a lot of other community things that are affecting us. A lot of times we get caught up in the P Diddy trial and all this other stuff that's going on, but there's real things happening in the community that we should be aware of. So, without further ado, I want to bring on special guest Richard Taylor. Thank you, Richard, for joining Alchemizing Energy. I don't have the yeah, I don't have that, so I'm gonna do yeah. Hey, Richard, how are you doing? How are you?
I'm wonderful. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh no. Thanks for being here. So you have a company called Richard House Publishing.
Now it's actually Taylor House Publishing.
Right. Okay. Taylor House Publishing. So what is first before we get into the other things that you do, I want to first get into, what is Taylor House Publishing and how did it start?
Well, Taylor House Publishing is a publishing company. It started when I wrote my second book, Wrongfully Accused, Rightfully Acquitted. And I started the company like 2015. And since then, I've been a publisher for other people who want to self-publish their books. So, I written 4 books and I published probably about 30 books for other people. Help them get their content out there, though.
So explain that book, right, Wrongfully Accused, Rightfully Acquitted. Explain that book.
Yeah, actually, in 2013, I was falsely accused for one of the most heinous crimes known to man. Dealing with taking something that don't belong to you from a woman.
Oh wow.
Kidnapping, abduction, and things like that. So, that was a very eye-opening experience. I was arrested, held without bail, and I had to wait to go to trial for about 6 months, and it was that's when I really got to see how the justice system worked. I had to defend myself. My court-appointed lawyer never asked me what happened, but he came to me the day before the preliminary trial and tried to get me to take a 30-year plea deal. And
wow.
when I reminded him, I was like, hey, man, you never even asked me what happened. I said, matter of fact, last time you hung up the phone on me. He was like, well, matter of fact, I got to go now, too. And so he hung up the phone. And, that next day, I defended myself in preliminary court. And later, they appointed me another counsel. And then this counsel did his job and proved my innocence. So, but it just gave me an eye open of, how the system works. They're not interested in justice. They're just interested in conviction. They knew I didn't do it. But, in order to advance their career, they have to get more convictions. They have to get more sentencing years. So that really, really opened my eyes to a lot. And that's why I'm always on the side of, when guys or girls claiming their innocence, whatever the crime may be, I'm always on the side and inclined to listen to them.
That I found it so interesting. I was like, you know what? I don't see no one really taking up for the people that's going to jail. I see a lot of people. I mean, people do it on the sidelines, but really doing the research, getting down to the bottom of what's really going on. And now that I hear your story, it makes sense why you would be so adamant. No, there's probably something more to this story because it happened to you. Wow, that's an amazing story. I didn't even know that part of the story.
Yeah, that was like I said, that really just and actually, it brought me closer to God too. So
Yeah.
that was just, I mean, and that gave me a chance to experience, conditions where people just automatically think you're guilty. And that's with, the jailers, with even people from the outside. It was just, it was just so enlightening. That's why I know, some of the things that go on behind the scenes, the courthouse, the cover-ups, the backroom deals, therefore and so forth. So
no, I don't mean to cover your face up like this, but I wanted to show your book. It's on Amazon. It's called Wrongfully Accused, Rightfully Acquitted. Let me put that on here so that people can be able to go get. Can they get it on your publishing company's thing?
Definitely they can, yeah, and I prefer that way too because Amazon get their cut. So if you do want to order the book, I appreciate it, but you
Okay,
can.
so go on his web. Let me find it on your website then instead of that. He said Amazon take the cut. No, don't get it off of
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Okay.
they do
Yeah.
that.
So I wanna do this initial. It's just off rip. Okay. So I had the wrong thing. Let me see. I had the wrong. It's publications. I'm sorry. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, Taylor House Publications, and then you just go to the store.
I'm gonna do this earlier on so that people could be able to go directly to your site. I'm sorry. So if this was wrong, you guys. Is this is the correct place to go? Sorry, y'all. I be trying so hard to do, to promote as I'm doing it. That be messing up. So this is the correct thing. If y'all was trying to find it, this is the right thing. And please go get his book. And let me show you the website really quick so that. And let me tell you, this young man has worked in the community. He's not just a person that's just talking about this stuff. He's being about it. That's why I was like, I have to get you on my show because you hear so many people that even my page. I talk a lot about spirituality and this, that, the other, but if you're not really, you got to also talk about what's going on in the world. You have to be grounded in reality because you could be so high up in this clouds talking about all this spirituality and stuff that happened. Well, back in before 1560 BCE and this, that, the other, and the Hebrew Israelites and the Moors and I'm like, well, but we get messed up now. People getting jacked up.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I want to talk to more people like you that are doing stuff that's talking about being a part of the change. Okay, if you want to get the book, if you go to his store, you'll see several of his books. Blue Lights in My Rear View. You'll see Son of a Preacher Man, and then Wrongfully Accused, Rightfully Acquitted. So several books that he has. Brushes with Death, The Blood of Jesus. He's talking about a lot of interesting things. So, what is the Blue Lights in My Rear View? Is that like an actual, real true story book, or is that like more of a biography, or what is that book about?
Yeah, Blue Lights in My Rear View is actually something that we're talking about today. That's like a comprehensive history of the police and how they were started, how through all American history they have been pretty much made to target, black men and women. They started out as slave patrols, as you know. Then they enforced the policy of the United States of America towards black people. So I detail from slavery all the way up to now to the killings that we see now, and also my own personal experience with law enforcement and harassment, targeting, profiling, assaults, all of those things. I detail comprehensive history using national cases, using my story, and using history. And that's the title of the book, Blue Lights in My Rear View. Anytime that black people, or probably definitely black people, see blue lights in their rear view, it's never a good thought. There's never any good thoughts that come to mind when we think of police.
Mm. So let's go into it. Let's really break this whole thing down. Let's talk about what, like I said, you talk about in your book about how the police started, and then we're gonna go get into the actual policing of the police. Like, what is the thing that's going on? Why do they feel like they have and it's getting more aggressive lately. It seems like it's getting more and more aggressive, and almost like a militarized police state thing that's going on, and then it's turning into gang type of behavior where you have a lot of intimidation and gang like behavior. So let's get into that. So let's get into, how did the police start?
Yeah, like I said, police started out, as slave patrols, police. And back then, black people, we were property. And
Mhm.
so the police were there or made to retrieve property. So anytime a slave ran away, they would send the slave patrols out. And it started as, a group of men or a group of people from the neighborhood. The slave masters would hire people to go hunt the slaves. And then that's when you had those guys, when they would see black people, because, contrary to popular belief, there were free black men or black women in that time. But, that's where, they get the term, let me see your freedom papers, so
Mm.
they
So
would,
that where the ID came from, your freedom papers?
That's exactly, what I liken it to. When officers come up to you and say, let you see your ID, they want to see who you are, where you live, do you have any warrants, what's your record, so then they can know how to treat you, whether they can search you, whether they can harass you, whether they can entice you, and just pretty much exert that authority. Somebody put it the other day. He didn't call them law enforcement officers. He called them policy enforcement officers. And if police is short for policy, and the American policy towards black people in America has always been negative.
Mm.
We have to control them. I think it was Nixon who said, and one of his aides brought it out. He said, well, and he actually started the quote unquote war on drugs, but he said, we knew that it was illegal to make being black criminal, but by associating blacks with criminality and drugs, then we can justify coming in their communities, locking them up and harassing them by making it seem like drugs was the number one thing problem in America. And so that's what they did. They would come into the neighborhoods. You hear about the 60s, the 70s. That's why the Black Panthers were started. The Black Panthers were originally started to police the police.
Right.
And so, and you see it, and you mentioned something that you said. Well, it seems more aggressive now. It seems more, I guess, ruthless
like
now. But no,
gangs, like they're like a gang, like they've turned into an actual like gang. Because how do you get everybody to come to the courthouse and take over all the seats, and so nobody can be able to go and see their family and loved one at the courthouse?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
how do you do that? And then someone knocks on the window and all y'all jump in like it's a gang. Like it's like y'all, and it's almost like did a letter go out? Like, do they have a group chat? Like, listen, if anybody does, then we all go and jump, or do they just know they're programmed to jump in and jump somebody if anybody? It's just weird.
yeah. They're trained. That's how they're trained, and it is a gang mentality. I actually had a associate of mine who was a sheriff, and he was talking about, and what's so bad about it, he was black though, but he was talking about how in my hometown they ran up on a guy, they beat him, they tased him, and he died. And he was talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, man. As soon as we got there, man, we beat them. Because that's what once one jump on them, it gives them the okay. So if
One
anybody
fight,
ever,
all fight. That's how the Hispanic gangs they got a Hispanic gang called One Fight, All Fight.
yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a gang mentality. It's definitely a
Trump
gang
just signed an
mentality.
executive order essentially militarizing police and giving them blanket immunity. Wow, I didn't know that. Are you aware of that?
Um, well, like I said, that like the police have already been militarized. That's where you saw them in the 80s with the battering rams. They was coming in with the battering rams and the tanks in LA during the crack hour. So they've been militarized, and they've also always had immunity. People always talking about, Trump is giving them immunity. When have they not had immunity? You think I just talked to Tamir Rice's mother the other day. I have an interview with her. Like, nobody paid for that. Mike Brown, and countless other people. So when have they not had immunity? Rodney King, his sister called me, last week, and was explaining, that situation from an inside point of view. Like, they got off of that. So, for people who say, okay, well, yeah, this is blanket immunity. Tell me, when have they not had it? So I get it. It's and when you said it seems more aggressive, no, it's been the same, but there's just more exposure now. With the internet, with video cameras, with Freedom of Information Acts, with people doing their research. But it hasn't changed since the inception of the police, in my opinion.
But you know what's so interesting is because a lot of times we think this is only a black issue, but from what I've been doing research is that cops kill more white people than they even kill black people. Is that true?
Well, I haven't did the numbers on that because my concern is about my people. Now,
Right.
I have seen some videos and things like that. But of course, they kill more white people because there's more white people in the United States. But I think the number is probably disproportionate as to, the percentage of black people that they kill related to the percentage of white people in comparison with the totality of our populations compared together, if that makes sense. You
Why
know what
do
I'm
you
saying?
think that the police would allow a white person to actually point a gun at them like a rifle? Why is it okay? Do you think that they're like, that they is an understanding that they're not? I don't like. Why do they? Is it like a fear that they have of us, of black men and black women? Do you
No,
think
it's
that's
just
what?
once again they know they can get away with it. Like the great Dick Gregory said. He said, "Why don't you see a lot of black police officers killing white kids or white boys or white women? You know why? Because he said we know, or the black officers know, the white folks won't tolerate it. So until we stop tolerating it, and that's what happened. But as far as white men pointing guns at the police, like they're the only ones who are able to exert that right in America. Like the Dred Scott decision said, a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect. So in that case, then white men or white police officers only respect the whites of others. You see police officers, white men cussing out police officers, get away from my window. No, I'm not opening the door. I'm not opening the door. I'm not rolling down my window. I've seen
Yeah.
several videos like that, and they don't get yanked out the car. They don't get put in handcuffs. They don't get detained. They don't get tased. But that is why,
Right,
because
they'll destroy your property. They'll take your money, pocket it, all kind of wild stuff.
oh
If you
yeah,
have over $1,000, you better watch out, honey. Hide your money. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna take that money and it's gonna disappear, and you good luck getting it back. It's like,
yeah, and
I've
that's
heard
what.
people lose tens of thousands of dollars, especially on the highway. If you're driving on that highway like interstate, you might as well kiss your money goodbye.
Mhm. And yeah, somebody said I think they are afraid. Yeah, it's both. They're afraid of us because of what they've done to us. That's what somebody said as well. Like they think that we are going to repay them back for everything that has been done to us. But we don't. We don't. We that's not our nature. That's not our nature. We don't. Um, we're so loving. So that's how they conquered Africa and Americas. We brought them in, we fed them, we took them in, and then they looked at the mines and said, "Oh wow, I wonder what the mines are." Dr. John Henry Clark said when they came to America, they was like, "Look how generous they are. How much
Hmm.
more easy will it be for us to conquer them?" You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's their mindset. But we're so loving people, and you still got our brothers and sisters today. When the cop comes kill their relative, they want to, oh well, I'm sorry, or we gotta forgive, and this, that, and the other. But
We need
but
to
that's
throw that
just
out though. Shoot, forgive. Don't forget though.
yeah,
Forgive for your own self, but don't forget about it and follow it to the end of the thing. Do not like lose track of your loved ones. And it's interesting. So when you say about how you went to prison, you went to jail. You went to prison, or did you only go up as far as jail?
Well, no, I went to prison one time. I think I was 21. I only served like 8 months, and that was for a DWI. But growing up in the small town of Goldsboro, North Carolina, there were certain white police who would just every time they see you, they would stop you. They would stop you on the streets. They would stop you driving. Like if he passed me on the street, he was coming around and he would pull me. I didn't have to do nothing. And it was a few of them like that. That once again, it just got me developing a mindset of contempt and animosity towards the police who used to do that. And then, there were some black police that might be in the car with them. And I'm like, yo, don't you see this? And then they were just like, shh, Richard, shh, don't just do what he say. You know what I mean? And so that's the problem when, we have the quote unquote good officers and black officers. They don't step in and defend, when they say when they see their counterparts doing the wrong thing. But yeah, so I had a man. I tell everybody I'm a non-licensed legal attorney because I've
Yeah, I
spent.
wanted to get into that attorney. That was my next question. So you're saying that you helped to fight your injustice while you were in jail, or what did you
Yeah,
get out?
yeah.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I was in jail. The lawyer that I had, he wouldn't give me the motion of discovery. He wouldn't give me the phone records, and he wouldn't give me the DNA. And when I finally fired him and they appointed me another lawyer, that lawyer got me the motion of discovery, the DNA test, and the phone records in a week. And I was able to pour through all that information, and I just laid it out how the person was lying. And he just let me, you made my job much easier. And for those of you who don't know, the motion of discovery is everything that the prosecution plans to present against you when you're going to trial. So they have to give you all the information so you'll know how to form a defense about that. So, but yeah, it was yeah. I've had so many experiences with police. I almost got my life almost got taken by police in Virginia Beach jail. Uh, been beat up by police before. Just all sorts of things. Been lied on by police, and so when you've lived it, it's different than just hearing about it. So I'm not.
And it seems like the biggest way that they can get you is through these traffic stops. I want to really do a comprehensive guide and give it out to everybody. This is how you handle a traffic stop, because I think a lot of the times people are just, they're dealing with emotion, but there at this point you're dealing with legalities, and you have to know the legalities of a traffic stop so that you don't hem yourself up. Like certain counties and certain states, you have to show your ID. Certain ones you don't. From what I know. Otherwise, they can turn that on you. Certain stuff you can roll your way. So, what are the things that you know about how to conduct yourself during a traffic stop to evade being able to, getting hemmed up?
So with these day and age, right? When I was younger, in my 20s, when the police stopped me, I'm giving them all the business. What? You ain't had no right to stop me. What you stopped me for? Nah, they hit my license registration. No, you can't search the car. All that stuff, right? So now, because I've seen what's going on, like when police ask you for your ID, and then you say, excuse me, you say, well, I don't have to present my ID unless you have reasonable articulable, and I know I'm not saying that right, but reasonable articulable suspicion. And they'll say, well, I don't have your suspicion, blah blah blah. You get into that argument with them, then they say, okay, well, you're being detained. Put your hands behind your back. No, I don't gotta put my hand behind your back. Now they pull on you. Now you resisting. Now you end up on the ground. You're in the scuffle. Next thing you know, you get shot because they say you reaching for their gun. So my advice now, you know what I'm saying, that everybody might not agree with this, and I didn't used to agree with it at the time, but my advice now is just get home. So whenever the police come up, like I got stopped the other day, license registration. You know why stopped me? Yeah, man. I try to run the light. I try to make the light. I guess I didn't make it. All right, he went back to his car. He called back up though. He called back up because they kind of know me in my town. But it was like, okay, I know that as Nearly Fuller put it, when they stop us, we are prisoners of war. You have no win. You have no rights. So that's why you see brothers getting over now. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that, and then they end up going to jail because why? We're prisoners of war when it comes to the police. So I advise everybody: look, if you on the run or if you dirty, now I can't tell you what to do. But if you're clean, you ain't got nothing, just go ahead and give me your ID and go home.
Just do what you gotta do. Don't all this? Why are you pulling me over? I need this. Listen. So we tried to police the police during our traffic stop. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, this is not the time. You deal with that in court or wherever. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it gets heated. But you don't want to, because really, literally, all you're gonna do is give them more money because they're gonna trump up more charges, and then they're gonna be able to fine you for all that stuff. And the whole thing is really a money grab.
Yeah.
A lot of this pulling over is money grab. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think they said in Ferguson, I was talking to Mike Brown father. He was like, in Ferguson, that's where they got their money from, targeting blacks and pulling them over. Like, it was like, that's where they made the lion's share of their money. And it all came out, of course, in the midst of, or in the wake of the death of Mike Brown. But a lot of these, like they'll sit by and wait. And like you said, it's a money grab. Like when I was in court one day, I heard the bailiff say, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. This honorable court now is open for business. And that's when it hit me. So this is a business. Like, they're open for business. When I left jail one time, they say, okay, thank you for your business.
Your
You know what I
business.
mean? So,
It's a business. They're in the business of policing.
yeah, it's a business. Lawyers, bails, bondsmen, clerks, all of those. Lawyers. Everybody is, getting paid off criminality or the criminal injustice system, as they call it.
So, and then I wanted to really show this right here because I think this is a really big point. Do not smoke in your car. Okay, don't smoke cigarettes. Don't smoke weed. Don't smoke DeJohn. Don't smoke nothing. Don't smoke cigars. Don't smoke Black and Milds. Don't smoke nothing in your car. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they can use that as an excuse to say they smell weed and take you outside the car. And then now I'm not sure whether there's a different jurisdiction once you step out. I'm not sure what the law is once they got you outside, but 9 times out of 10, they're going to have you in handcuffs in some kind of way. They'll search your car. They can find some, call it shake. It could be like some nicotine that's on the ground. They can say, well, that's shake. I found some shake or whatever. And next thing you know, you're getting a weed charge. So you have to be really careful about smoking anything in your car, unless it's like one of those, even those little handheld electric. I wouldn't even do that, because they could just say that smells like weed. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. And another time in my life when I used to ride, when I was involved in some things that wasn't too scrupulous, that would be my thing. Like when I'm riding dirty, I'm not smoking because once you smoke, they see it. It gives it draws attention to you. So yeah, that's definitely and it's fun. They don't even have to find nothing nowadays. They planting stuff, and I've seen it. I've talked to people. Fortunately, I've never been a victim of that, but they have the ability to plant stuff on you. So yeah, I tell people that just stay out of their face as much.
Don't do nothing that make them can pull you out. As he's saying, cigarettes are fine. No, because they can say that smells like weed, and then they got a reason. If it's smoke, any kind of smoke coming up, billowing out the car when you roll your window down, they can say that that's weed. I just say, just for the safety of it all, just chill. You could, forever like 30 minutes you in the car, just go ahead and chill. You ain't gotta smoke your cigarettes, and that's dangerous anyway. Too many things going on. Just wait. That's what I would say. People are gonna do what they want to do. I would say to chill on the cigarette, all that, because you don't want them to have a reason to pull you out and be able to plant something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing is that when it really comes down to even the legal aspect, you say that the first thing that your lawyer wants to do is to try to settle it out, do a deal, because some of these are not trial lawyers that are like in the when you get a what you call a lawyer, they're not really trial lawyers. They're I forget his name for it.
Plea bargain. See, you got to think about it. Over 90% of cases end in plea agreements, because you think about it, you get a court-appointed lawyer. In most small towns, they appoint you the same one or two lawyers, right? That lawyer got a case file like this thick. So when it's time for your case to come up, like he's literally open up your file that morning.
That day, right.
He don't know nothing about it, but he's talking to the DA. Hey, well, I got this case. What do you want to offer him? What will he take? Offer him this. If he denies it, we'll offer him this. If he denies, but the last thing they want to do is go to trial. The last thing
they're not gonna get paid extra
is go to trial, because that costs them more money. Just prime example. In my case, on the morning of my trial, my lawyer came and said, well, they offered you a plea agreement. I said, yeah. He said, yeah. He said, okay. I was like, what is it? He said, well, they're going to drop the R word. They're going to drop the kidnapping. They're going to drop the abduction. They're going to drop the abduction with intent to defile. They're going to drop, the assault, and they're going to drop everything. Only thing you got to do is plead guilty to a misdemeanor assault, and you'll get out of here today. You'll walk out with time served. I think I was in there for 6 months, right? But because I was already on probation for, possessing some illegalities, I'll say, if I would have pled guilty to that, it would have been an instant revocation of my probation. So I was like, nah, I can't do that. But I asked them why. I was like, why is this prosecutor willing to drop all the charges? He said, well, because she knows it's bullish. He said, because she knows it's bullish, right? So she knew the person was lying, but her job was once again to get a conviction, not
Yes.
seek justice. So I had to go through a week-long trial. The same lawyer, and this what I told my lawyer, the same DA who was painting me as a monster and as a criminal was going to let me out that morning. But now she's telling the jury all these stuff. And I was like, well, lawyer, can't you tell the jury that she just offered me a plea to get out? He was like, nah, because that goes against the ethics of negotiation. So this is what we're dealing with. Yeah. Like I was like, man, that should be cut and dry. Like if she thought I did this, why would she be willing to let me out, with a misdemeanor charge? But her job, once again, was to get a conviction, not find justice. So, but yeah, court-appointed lawyers, you gotta stay on them. If you have family outside, you got to get them to stay on them, and really, you got to know the law. You got to know the law, because in most cases, most states, if you are being held without bond, they have to bring you to trial within a certain amount of time. In Virginia, that time it was 150 days. And that court-appointed lawyer tried to get me to do a continuance, but I had studied the law, and I was like, nope, because the only way your speedy trial is negated is if you, the defendant, agree to a continuance. And if I would have did that, they sat you in jail for like 2 or 3 years, and then they offer you 4 years. You've been in there 3 years. You're like, okay, well, what's another year, right? But most people don't know that, and then they end up 3-4 years sitting in a case that they probably could beat, that they might not be guilty of, but because they negate their right to a speedy trial, then they can leave you in there forever. And another point is, once again, in Virginia was 5 months, in North Carolina, I think it's like 7 months. With all the cases that they don't have time to prepare a great case for you within that time frame, because there's so many cases. The DA got so many cases. That's why they trying to get please. They're trying to clear the calendar, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all got relatives and they are being held without bond, tell them not to agree to a continuance, because they're just going to prolong it, man. And please, for the life of me, I was in there with some brothers who was facing like mad time. They was taking a bench trial. If you don't know what a bench trial is, that is where the judge is the jury. So the lawyer, your lawyer, and the DA is presenting the information to the judge. What do you think the judge is going to do? He gets paid by how many man years he give out. He gets paid by how many convictions he give out. So please, for the life of me, pick you 12. Only one of those 12 have to find you not guilty. So, but yeah, that's just, once again, that's just something I learned with my experiences.
I'm gonna write that in here. So do not take a plea. Do not take a continuance. Well, if you know that you're not guilty.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if you guilty, if you know that you done did 20 robberies and you facing 1,040 years and they offer you 10 and they got you red-handed, but still now, if you know you can beat it off a technicality, or there was a unlawful search, or the witness is compromised, whatever the case may be, then don't. But if they got you red-handed, then do yep. Okay. And somebody put something else I just saw. The state is paying a certain amount of money per inmate. You know what I'm saying? So the government pays, I think it's like, what is it, $40,000 or $50,000 a year for inmates? It might be more. And so once again, it's big business. It's private prisons. You have people investing in private prisons. So it's definitely a money grab. So the best way for us to survive this is to stay out of the trap, as they call it. And we we glorify a lifestyle that puts us in that position sometimes, but that's a whole nother conversation.
And the judge, it seems like for everything, the judge has to put you in prison for jail for a little bit of time. If you ever get thing where you have to talk to just a judge, they're going to put you in jail for a little bit. Even if you are found, like if you do no local time, they're going to say, okay, Even if it's a week, they'll say, okay, we got to at least spend 1 week. They got to get some money out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and not to
And most
mention,
people don't know that there's a law library. Is this all in every jail and prison that there's a law library?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Every you have access. So now they got it so high tech. They got tablets. They got
Mhm.
tablets, so you can go up there and you can research or whatever. So that's where, but in Norfolk, I had to go actually to the law library. But and see, that's the thing. See, a lot of people get in there and they don't take the time to fight their case themselves. They're depending on these lawyers, and once again, those lawyers have so many cases. You're just a number on their court calendar. You know what I'm saying? You're just a case number. And so, I advise all the brothers, who are fighting cases to really, do your own due diligence.
Right. Instead of being up in there playing, spades or whatever they be doing in jail, or whatever they be doing, cooking up noodles and stuff, go to the law library and get on there and find out about your case.
Yeah, yeah,
Cooking up, doing the cook up with your commissary. Go ahead and get on that law library, whether it's on the tablet or down at the library, and don't just leave your case in any lawyer's hands, whether you pay for it or not. Because even sometimes when you pay for a lawyer, you know what I'm saying, they'll get all that money, you still end up in prison. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And shout
I've
out to
known people that spent like $20,000 and they still doing 11, 20
Oh
years.
yeah, yeah. Because like I said, and the lawyer will tell you that. They will tell you. I mean, they won't tell you, but you got to ask them. Like, what am I going to get for this stuff? Like, I got a friend right now. She's facing a vehicular homicide where she hit somebody, and the judge was trying to charge her $30,000. The lawyer was, and I was like, well, what did he say he going to give you for that? She was like, he didn't say. I was like, you better make sure. You know what I mean? Because I mean, and 9 times out of 10, like, it's not really nothing they can do. See, they're just there to represent you because it's a saying where legally you're not understanding of court terminology. That's how they put it. Like you are legally like just not the word they use, but let's just say legally retarded. You know what I'm saying? You're legally inept of understanding legal terminology. So you need somebody to represent you in a court of law.
Right.
So but that's all they're doing is representing you. They can't guarantee you now. They can represent you with the DA. They can grease some palms if you pay them enough money. That lawyer will grease some palms. I've had some partners be like, yo, he met his lawyer, took him and met with the judge and the DA. You know what I mean? And they discussed and how much he had to pay, and he got his little 2 years, and that was that. So man, the whole system is corrupt. And one thing about law is it's ever changing. They're always changing the laws, and you can change the law like right there in the courtroom. Like I don't know if y'all remember this. It was a rich white kid. Rich white kid killed his parents, right? And they gave him a defense called affluenza.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
They said he had affluenza. They made up something to keep this white boy out of jail. They said, yeah, he's just so rich that he doesn't really know that what he done was wrong. He's so rich that his mind is just so above, to even think of criminality, because he's just so like it's those things. And we've seen laws change and benefit, those who are part of the dominant society. Then we've seen those laws change to the detriment of people like us, like the brothers from Lincoln Heights. I don't know if y'all remember a few months back, there was a group of white supremacists that went to Lincoln Heights right outside of Cincinnati. And the black people came and chased them off the bridge. But for about 2 or 3 weeks later, the black brothers was walking around with the mask and the guns, legally carrying, patrolling their own neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
This daggone DA going to say, well, we're thinking about making it illegal to walk around masked while you're open carry.
But they were masks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So they got the ability to change laws to suit their preference. So
Right. So even though they walked up in there with masks on, oh, now that we're trying to, but they're wearing masks probably because they don't want to be on the news, and they probably got regular jobs and don't want to be seen
yeah, that's what they
doing
were
that, and
saying.
so they have a
That's what they were
mask on.
saying.
Yeah.
But it's just like you mentioned earlier about the qualified blanket immunity or whatever, right? Um, there's already laws on the books, that says police don't supposed to shoot unarmed people, right? Like people talk about, well, we need to pass the anti-lynching bill, we need to pass the George Act, the George Floyd Act. There's already laws that say you don't supposed to kill black people. So if they're not enforcing these laws or going by these laws, what makes you think that they're going to enforce? Okay, well, yeah, we just passed this bill. The Ryan Hinton, and rest in peace to Ryan Hinton. The Ryan Hinton, no fleeing, no shooting, black people in the back while fleeing, right? But that's already,
There's already a law that says that
you know
already.
what I mean? So, like I don't like when they be playing in our face like that, and we be advocating for it. Yeah, we're gonna pass. They're gonna pass a bill,
But you ain't gonna do nothing.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
We don't care. They had a song, "A Bill." I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. Whatever. Back in the day, I'm just a bill. It was for part of Sesame Street, I think it was, a Reading Rainbow. But yeah, they had a whole thing. Oh no, Electric Company. Back in the day, they had "I'm just a bill on Capitol," and it's all it is just a bill. Half of those executive orders, don't even like the president even reads them.
yeah,
There's someone that reads it for him, only the points of it, and it just signs away and not don't even know what's in them. You know what I'm saying? So we don't even know what those bills are in those. People don't even know what's in those bills. Half of them.
yeah,
So
it'd be a lot of like nobody ever reads none of that stuff. Like, it'd be so much. They might give you one part of the bill, but the main part of the bill ain't got nothing to do with what they talking about.
exactly right. So a lot of times these things happen to, like, I believe, change laws. It's kind of like a psychological operation that happens, and in the most of these cases that you see a lot of the media kind of come into play. And I don't know if the media is bought and sold or who's on top of this. Why do you think it is that there's like a general? I mean, do you think that the police or whoever puts out a statement and then all the news channels tend to parrot that same information over and over again? Like, why do you think the news is so skewed right now?
Yeah, well, they all work in conjunction. As the late great Malcolm X or Malik El Haj Shabazz said, if you're not careful, the media will have you thinking that the criminals are the victims and the victims are the criminals. And the like, if you remember, or probably still today, because I don't watch news, but every time the news come in, what does it show you? It shows you a black person suspecting a robbery, a black person shooting, a black person, getting caught with substances, right? And so what does that put you in the mind every day? Black criminal, black
Right.
criminal, black criminal.
Mhm.
And even the term black on black crime, right? Black on black crime. What does it, what in your subconscious, what does it do? It makes you affiliate black with crime. Black
Yeah.
subconsciously, black on black crime. Oh,
Yeah.
black commit crime. Blacks commit crime. And
And
so
then you have Myron Gaines get on Piers Morgan reinforcing that whole idea with the lady that called the little boy the N word, and he's up there. Yes, the black people are dangerous, and it's dangerous. I don't want to live around black people. They're just so dangerous, and da da da. And I'm like, they have the highest crime rate. This, that, the other, da 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 da. And it's like, really, And so all this news is just pushing this propaganda that's going all over the world.
and the reason that we have the highest crime rates, because once again, they come in our communities and target us. Like I use this analogy: black people and white people use drugs at the same rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a group of 10, if you have a group of 10 white people and 10 black people, right, and half of them got drugs on them, right? If you only stop one white person out of that 10, you only got a 20% chance of finding a white person with drugs. But if you find 8, if you stop 8 black people out of that 10, you're guaranteed to get 60% of a person with drugs out of your stops. So That's where the narrative come from. It's not that we commit crimes more often than anybody. No, we're just targeted and prosecuted more than others. You don't find police sitting on the corners in rich white neighborhoods waiting for Judge Higginbotham to come
Right.
leaving his house late at night after drinking scotch. And if they do stop him, they go, "Oh, that's Judge. We'll find Judge. Do you need me to follow you home?" You know what I'm saying? It's that type of deal. So, that's that. But the media, going back to the media, like if you watch any of these news stories, like there are certain buzzwords like the suspect. The suspect. They don't say the person. They say the suspect was shot. So that dehumanizes him. You know what I'm saying? That dehumanizes the victim. Like it's very tricky, man. My guy, Professor Griff, used to call them multi-ethnic devils in action. The media. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's the perception. Imagery is so real that if you continue, like if you tell a lie loud enough and long enough, then people will start to believe it. And so we have bought into that, but most white people, because a lot of white people don't have any connection with blacks except for what they see on TV, except for what they see on the news. So they got to keep that narrative in there. Oh, blacks are dangerous. Blacks are criminals. Because so when they do lock us up or when they do kill us, it's always a justification. Oh, he had a gun. Okay, well, a lot of people have guns.
Right.
They don't mean they're supposed to be dead, but because we have the narrative, oh, black gun, like the guy Ja Morant. I don't know if y'all watch basketball, but a couple of years back, Ja Morant was in the club with a gun. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole world had a fit. But all these other white athletes somewhere on the farm shooting up. And they're just the great America. Look at this gun collection. He's a Second Amendment right spokesman. You know what I mean? But when a black person had a gun, oh, gun. Bye. So
right. That was right. He has a gun. Oh, he has a gun. Oh, okay. And that's almost like like they all agreed that if I scream out gun, you can shoot immediately. 15 times in 2 seconds.
Or let the taser go. Like that's the new one. I've seen a couple of incidents where they let the taser go. Oh yeah, he had the taser, and I just fear for my life. And so yeah, man, it's wicked, man. It's wicked. It's wicked and evil. And but people are waking up. People are waking up. People are getting exposed. So I think that the more people do the research on things, the more people look past what they see on the mainstream media. A lot of people are checking out platforms like mine and yours for information that they're not going to show on the media. Just like with the Ryan Hinton case. Somebody had put out some information about this officer C.N. McGrath, and somebody showed the picture of him, and he had the Crusaders cross on his arm. Now,
what is the Crusaders cross? What's that?
Crusaders cross. They liken it to the Knights Templar. But if anybody remembers the Crusades, that's when the Europeans went all over the world and said, "Nah, we're trying to give you religion," but really they was killing people and taking land. So, but that is also one of the white supremacists tattoos as well. So so if you look up the Crusaders cross, if you see that, and there's a lot of symbols like somebody mentioned in the comments, they know that the police have been infiltrated by white supremacist gangs. They actually recruit police. You know what I'm saying? White supremacist gangs actually recruit police. Like it was in Tennessee. It was in Tennessee that and matter of fact, hold on. Am I able to present?
Yeah, you can present.
All right,
yeah,
so
I was trying to see. I'm not sure
what I'm talking about. Okay, here. Let me see. This is what I'm talking about right here. It's not coming up. Okay, so that is the quote unquote officer. If y'all see that tattoo on his left arm right there, that is a version of the Crusaders cross. Now that is the officer that they said did it from the people in Cincinnati. Now
Do
this
you
is
think that
the
they put that out because they saw your news story where you said it was a plainclothes officer? They had to show him in real officer regalia.
um. Oh, no, that was out before, but I just never did the research. But y'all see that tattoo on his arm? This is the tattoo of the officer that got out of the car.
Okay, that's the Crusaders cross. Okay, because I would have thought that was a regular cross, but I guess when it has those ticks on the end of it, that's when you know it's a. So if you guys see something like that, definitely watch out. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. So, but
That's
y'all see that
his
right
arm.
there?
Mm-hmm.
That is the officer who shot the young brother getting out of the car.
That's him.
Is that the
Wow.
same? Is that not the same tattoo on that
Yeah.
left forearm as him? And
Yep,
so,
that's him.
and people had put that out earlier, but I wanted to do some research. But then people started like when I did put the video out with the body cam, then people started pointing out that tattoo, and I was like,
Mm.
wait. And then so I went back and looked at him. I was like, yeah, okay. Well, now we got to talk about it. But let's get him off the screen if we can.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So, but yeah. So, um, yeah. So like even LA, they had special gangs called the Wolverines, the Banditos, and a couple of other gangs infiltrated in the police department.
So is it like a thing? Watch out if you see a whole lot of tattoos on a police officer to watch out for those particular ones because it might
Yeah,
be.
what? And I don't even know all of them, but you probably can do some research and find them because I be looking at these cats' arms too, with a lot of tats. I be like, okay, and you'll catch something that looks kind of suspicious, but we probably need to do some research on some of these tattoos. Um, he said no, most police officers have the cross. Oh, for real? Well, that means most police officers are maybe white supremacists, suspectedly, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So,
So these are like some of the police gang tattoos. Okay. When you see these tattoos, run for the hills. Don't be taught because they probably part of some kind of an old gang or something like that. This skeleton with the fire coming out, that's one to look for. Let's see. Well, now they're showing some other thing, but so watch out for these types of tattoos. I'm gonna do some research to find some more because we could probably do a whole thing. Watch out for these tattoos when you get pulled over because for sure they are like a gang unit and they act like a gang. So you know what I'm saying? So
definitely. Like I said, it's a gang mentality, sort of like back in the days. When a black man will be accused of something, and they'll hold him in jail, and then the whole mob will come out. Like the whole mob will come out, overtake the jailer, and take the keys and take them out in the streets, and
wow.
do what they will to him. Sonya Massey Killer had several of them, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying too. Like a lot of these officers, just like McGrath, they said they have a history of that. Like even the officer who killed Tamir Rice, he left that department and tried to go to another department, and then
Mhm.
Miss Rice called up there. They got him away from there, but he went to another department, another. So a lot of these officers just shuffle around when they get too hot where they at. Just like a hustler, just like any other criminal, any other charlatan, right? You know what I'm saying? You get hot, you go on the run, you do your crime somewhere else.
I mean, I believe that the police is another way that you could probably become a serial killer and not even like have to like deal. I think a lot of these people probably are serial killers. You know what I'm saying? Just like the military. Think about it. A person that's talking about because you know how they really promote like those people that snipers. Like, well, that guy's a serial killer. He's a sniper. That means he has killed like multiple people. Like, so he's technically a serial killer. You know what I'm saying? And if you're
And that,
same thing with police, if you have a police officer that have killed more than one person, that is a serial killer. So you have to be careful with this type of a mentality on a force that's meant to enforce the law and that has kind of weird, might have some weird things going on.
but also you mentioned something very, very important too: military. A lot of these cops are ex-military. And so
Mm,
if you think about it, a lot of them have been trained for war. Some of them have been in war.
been
Some
in
of them
war.
have been, shell shot, had to take some lives. But they're now coming into neighborhoods whom they deem enemies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
a lot of these officers don't have any connection with the neighborhoods that they go in. Like a lot of like when I was young, like we had police officers that stayed in the neighborhood that knew my parents. You know what I'm saying? That knew. So when they catch me out doing bad, they would, they wouldn't arrest me. They were just like, okay, I see you, man. You be all right. Don't let me. You know what I'm saying? But these new cops that don't even live in the town, like most cops don't even live in the town that they police in. So they come into town and they just treat you any kind of way because they have no connection with you. But also they're going in there with a military mindset. Okay, we're going for war. First person get out of line. Hey, you, da 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 da. Hey, So they fighting, they shooting, they slamming, they harassing, they violating, because that's what you do in war.
Right, right. So there needs to be a debriefing or something, some kind. If you're in the military, you join the police force to kind of debrief you down to being a police officer. Like, sir, we are not in Iraq, But I think that they like that kind of the aggression, because it probably, and then you have a few people that's in the military joining together. That's kind of why, like, a lot of times these new police, a lot of times they'll have a person, going, and then another police car officer will ride up, get out his car, run up the thing, don't know nothing going on, and just jump right in, don't even know what the story is.
That's exactly what we was fighting about 3 months ago in a project in my hometown. The police had this guy in handcuffs. This other police come up and he just come up and slammed the dude on the ground. Within 3 seconds of getting there, just like Ryan Hinton, he picks the guy up and slams him on the ground in handcuffs, break his shoulder, ribs, and everything. And the officers already had him in handcuffs. He said something that the guy didn't like. You know what I mean? But it's military Gestapo tactics. That's how our one person put in. They come in there with military Gestapo tactics, because once again they've already painted us as criminals. So what do you do to a criminal? Like if you read some of the comments about Ryan Hinton Jr., Ryan Hinton, most people have said, well, you don't run from the police with a gun. Oh, he had a gun. Oh, he had a gun. That justify, right? They're saying committing a crime justifies you being your life being taken. So
only thing I didn't know was, did he have the gun outside of his, like, holding it, or was he just?
Man, listen, I have an eyewitness. I think I did that. Eyewitness say he dropped the gun. Now we've been analyzing these photos. I just haven't had time to sit down and put it together. But these photos, like they are doctored. The young brother dropped the gun. He had like a backpack in his hand while he was running. He didn't have any gun, and you can actually see through the trash cans where the police are. This is after he's already shot. After he's already ran by, you can see the police bending down and picking up something.
What?
At the same place where they quote unquote claim that he fell and tripped. But if he fell and tripped, why you guys are not showing that? That's where he dropped the gun. That's what the dude's like, man, he dropped the gun. Now, my guys, he ready to come out with the story, but he once again he feels because he lived there and he know how Cincinnati police get down.
Now, was this in the same area as Lincoln Heights, or is this a different neighborhood?
No, Lincoln Heights is like a suburb of Cincinnati, so that's about 10 minutes away from that. But the whole Cincinnati, like, I mean, I've been getting so many calls from people in Cincinnati with so many instances that, but once again, Ohio is a major hub. Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Tennessee are a major hub for those white nationalist supremacist group, whatever, the Loyal White Knights, all of those groups. Like, they literally was sending literature out in Ohio and in Kentucky, and they was using a P.O. box in North Carolina, which is also where I live, but they got a whole network, like a whole like an underground railroad of white supremacists through these about 6 or 7 counties. You know what I mean? So Ohio is rife with that type of activity. And like I said, Tennessee mayor, I think it was Nashville mayor, he had to come out and say police can no longer be affiliated with white nationalist groups because they had so many in their department.
Wow.
I might bring that article up later on, But yeah, he literally said, "Look, we, and that's where I got the information was like they target police officers, they recruit from the police department, and then of course when they get
They recruit the KKK
no,
from
no, no, I mean
the
it's back
police
and
recruit
forth
the
now. Like
wow.
it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Because think about it, if police officers are being recruited to join the the white supremacist group, then when they get in the police department and new people come in, what are they going to tell them? Hey, look, man, you're a police officer, but also you should join us. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like which comes first, the chicken or the egg right now. You know what I'm
Even
saying?
if they probably aren't in the KKK, you probably got to join a gang within that group to be protected or whatever. You
Yeah,
know, like when you go to jail, there's different gangs. You like join the Aryan Nation or the Nation of Islam. You know, when you go to prison, you know. So yeah, probably the same thing.
yes, and you notice like what they call it, the thin blue line. Like when police officers want to whistleblow, as they call it, when they want to stand up, most of them end up unalived, or they end up like what's my man name, the black guy, Chris Dorner. Chris Dorner, they tried to paint him as this serial killer, this madman on the loose, but no, he was exposing everything that was going on in the police department. And
Mm,
they came after him, and I think he had to lay a couple of them down because he was
wow.
exposing them. But that's how, but then of course with the media, you know what I'm saying? They say, "Oh, this Chris, a former police officer, has just killed 3 people and he's on the run." You know what I'm saying? But they didn't tell him that those fake police or those rogue police officers were coming to kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
So,
that's crazy. So I didn't. Yeah, I would. That's new news to
yeah,
me.
look up Chris Dorner. That happened on maybe a decade ago. I can't recall. Maybe less. But yeah, Chris Dorner, if y'all remember that.
So years and years of just corruption in this department, and there's no accountability in sight. You know, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse over time until something happens. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but this is, I think, one of the things that happened with this with Roy Hinton Jr. with the father, how he enacted his rage or whatever. So did they find out whether or not he was the one who drove the car or not?
Um, like I said, I've seen I've seen the post the girl made. The girl been making a lot of posts. I think her name was LaShawn Hankerson, whatever. She made a post said, "No, I was there. I tried to get him out of the car. He was in the passenger seat, and the old lady was driving." Now, even before I saw that, a young lady called me from Cincinnati with some inside connections that people who work, with wherever that information is being kept secret. She said, "Well, it was a lady driving it, and they are charging him to protect her." Now the other person said, "Well, evidently this lady, passed in the accident," and now people are saying, "Well, yeah, well, where's this lady's family at? You know what I mean? Where's this?" But like y'all don't know the depths that they can pay everybody to shut up. They can get this lady family money to shut up. You know what I mean? And not talk about it. Just like when they take people's lives. They might take your family members' life, and then they give you a $900,000 lawsuit. But as a part of the lawsuit, you can't take nothing. It's called a gag. It's called a
Gag
gag
order.
order.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they'll pay you the money, but you can't talk about it no more. So those are the things that going on. And of course, some people will take like, "Hey, I'm not going to get my relative back anyway, so I might as well take this 1.2 mil." You know what I mean?
So here's the thing. Why? So what do you think the lawyer might have been preemptive before he actually got like all the details to say that he had insanity? Because I'm like, well, it sounds like now you have people you can subpoena that can say that there was someone else driving the car, and then that's an actual level of defense. But now you kind of went against your defense because you preemptively said this right in front of a judge. So now the prosecution can use that against you. It's like, what are you doing, lawyer?
and I've had some I've had some I heard some good things about the lawyer Clyde Bennett, but me personally, I don't know where he's going with this defense, considering I've heard, once the information I've received, you know what I'm saying? And he's very ambiguous. If you watch the interview, he did an interview, and I don't know, I've never seen a lawyer do a sit down interview with a media source the day right before, right after he leave court, and what they gave him, like no bond or something like that. The day after, like if you look in the last court appointments he had, that lawyer got on the same suit that he just left court with. No lawyer is going to discuss anything about a case on national TV and even disclose his strategy. Talking about, well, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna go with the mental health. That's what he basically said in short. Yeah, we're gonna go with the mental health. We don't know what his mind was, and he has a documented mental health. I'm gonna break down that interview later, but once again, I'm not a lawyer, and neither do I play one on TV. I didn't pass the bar, so I may not understand what he's doing, but
No, you're not supposed to be on the media because that's going to sway the jury. Like, what are you doing?
And what it's looking to me like he's the defense he's going to put is like, well, he did it, but he won't in his right mind, and he has a documented history of mental illness. So,
but then you have his brother saying that he was a student. He was
yeah. So
it's like if he's going to do that, then he has to get his brother to not tell like the good things about his brother. He has to like he's not doing his job as a lawyer, because the lawyer should have reached out to the brother to say, don't do no family members, don't do any interviews, don't do anything, don't talk anything, because I'm going to go for this, and so because now it looks like people are not even on the same page. You understand what I'm talking about? Because the brother could have went there and been a character witness, right?
Yes, and that's what some Foxy were saying. I don't have a lot of confidence in his attorney. He mentioned he hasn't received much info from the prosecutor. Yeah, like he said something like, well, from the information that I believe I received or something. He said something like, I'm gonna have to break it down. I watched a little bit because I couldn't even watch no more. I was like, okay, man, let me turn this off until I'm about to break it down, because I just don't know. Once again, shout out to Clive Bennett. Once again, one of the brothers who I was talking to up there said, they actually tried to bring some charges on him once upon a time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he might be, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not even gonna speak on his lawyer and his lawyer's effectiveness, but yeah, I don't like that argument for this case. You know what I'm saying? But I can see how that could work though. You know what I'm saying? I can see how that work. Yeah, I just saw my son, but that's the same narrative that they're giving though. So I don't agree with that. But
let's look a little bit at this thing right here, because I have it up here. Let's look a little bit at it. Just talk about it real quick, because I think that is crazy that the lawyer is actually even speaking. That's insane, But I think that people just want, now this is such this probably is the biggest case that he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
First one or the second one though? Is that the first one? The part is that like 4 minutes? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's 4 minutes. Yeah,
that's the one.
Okay, let's go into it.
Behind the wheel. Is it your contention do you admit that he was behind the wheel? Because officers said that he was behind the wheel. There's video of him behind the wheel, and that they took him out and, in fact, triple checked to make sure that he was the one that was behind the wheel.
Based on my acquaintance with this case, it appears that he was a person that was driving a car.
Okay.
Stop right there.
And mental.
He's talking about based on my acquaintance with the case. So that means like that's your acquaintance, mean like you don't even really have, someone who's an acquaintance. What are they? There's somebody who's on the outside. So
right.
What that's telling me is he's telling me what they're telling him. Just like the news person said, well, yeah, the police are saying this, the police are saying this. Well, based on my acquaintance with the case, I'm acquainted with the case, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's acquainted with the case. So, but yeah, that answer.
So that starts off crazy right there. Let's go.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go
Capacity,
ahead.
where was he?
He was out of his mind. He was not in his right mind. Let me spell that out. That means that I'm doing something, but I don't know the wrongfulness of what I'm doing because I'm out of touch with reality. That's what insanity is. You can be insane and still present like a physically normal person, and you won't know that that person is insane, but for their actions and but for an evaluation of their brain. This man had a diagnosed, documented mental illness that is recognized by healthcare providers, and he's receiving medication for the mental diagnoses. That constitutes a defect at this point.
So this is going to be not guilty by reason of insanity?
So he's God, what is going on?
Yeah. So that's what he's saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what basically he's saying, right? You know, he was out of his mind.
So he's giving the prosecution everything to fight this case, right?
And once again, who's going to say that? Who's going to say that in public? Now,
well, first of all, he hasn't even gotten a mental evaluation, and he doesn't even know what they're going to say. They can say that he's competent to stay in trial, and everything he's saying goes out the window.
And so, basically, right? But also, somebody pointed out, like I pointed out, where are the body cam footage? Where's the camera footage? They say they have footage of it. There's no footage of right after the scene of people crying, or people yelling, or people scattering around. You know what I'm saying? There's none of that. So, once again, it seems skeptical. But my man, like, I don't, just looking at him, you know what I'm saying? And I won't judge him, I don't know him, but I've been in the streets before, man, and I ain't saying, my man, like, look, he looking like, you know what I mean? Look at his suit; it's all wrinkled. His shirt,
right?
Ain't, you know what I'm saying? His shirt ain't buttoned up to the top. It's all his
He's
suit.
Definitely a quarter point.
You know what I'm saying? His suit a little too big, but I don't know, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying he, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I done seen a couple of. Damn, I want to be respectful, but you know what I'm saying? I've been in the streets.
Crackheads or whatever.
I'm gonna let you say it. Though. But just looking at his
he look like he don't look like he all the way together. He
yeah. I don't.
The fact that he's even doing this is crazy.
Yeah.
Next time we come up, I'm gonna bring my attorney Calvin Johnson up to talk about this too, because that's crazy that he actually did it.
Yeah. Bring Cat. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, let him get coming, because who does that? Who gets on national TV the day before, like the day after they indict him on the charges, basically? Like, that don't make no kind of sense. So I don't know.
And this is the news in Cincinnati. So that means they haven't picked a jury yet. So that means that the jury that they're going to select, probably if they watch the news, has seen this interview. Like, what are you doing? You are
9 times out of 10, you know, they're going to move it to a different jurisdiction.
Oh, okay.
They're going to move it, and you know, they probably move it to where he's being held, which is Clermont County, which, from what I understand, is is another place where
the police say it's another white premises area.
Yeah, basically.
Ohio is racist altogether. It don't matter where you go in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? And you spoke about Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, when I was in the NAACP in high school, and that was a long time ago, not to age myself. Back then, it was the largest area for KKK. So it had the largest concentration. It was like the headquarters of the KKK. It was headquarters so bad that every Christmas, right next to the Christmas tree was a Klan Christmas tree. And they were trying to stop it, but because of freedom of speech, the Klan was allowed to put up their own Christmas tree in the mall. So that's how racist Cincinnati is. Right on the border of Kentucky. Yes, very racist.
Yeah, like all of the, like, I mean, they have so many enclaves. Like, it's a place in Tennessee where they go train and work out and fight each other, and train.
They're trying to train for the race war that they're gonna try to start, whatever, and try to start it through the police. I believe that they're trying to use the police to kind of get everybody riled up, get people protesting and yelling, and then it's gonna start, and then they get to all come together and start doing some BS. That's what I think is gonna happen. Because every time we've had those kind of riot like type of things, even in the 60s, you know, where you had Detroit gets messed up and all the burnings of Detroit, that started off with some police brutality, and then there was like the whole riots that broke out, and then that whole white flight out of Detroit into the suburbs. So they use the police to start up a lot of stuff, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But let's hear what else this fool got to say. This is embarrassing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Potentially, yes. That's basically from what I've seen so far, and I haven't gotten all of the evidence. Really, I haven't gotten any evidence from the government.
So
I've got it from my investigator. But from what I've seen so far.
Well, if you haven't gotten no evidence, why are you talking?
Yeah.
What are you saying? Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't see this before. I'm sorry. This is my raw reaction.
Let's hear about it real quick. Let's hear about.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm not going to say. I'm sorry. I just had to pause it right there. Okay. Let me be quiet. I'll be quiet.
This is what it appears to be. Yes.
Okay, I want to back up on something that you initially said. You said unjustifiably killed. His son was unjustifiably killed. People would take issue with that as well. And that is going to be something that we're going to be looking at because there is 6 seconds of very shaky video.
Right.
So what is your contention there?
When I say unjustifiably killed, I'm speaking through the lens and eyes of my client.
Okay.
So in his mind, when he sees the video and he sees his son being killed, he thinks it's unjustifiable. It's horrific. It's tragic. Do you know what it's like to see your son or daughter being killed?
No, thank God I don't.
Your bloodline? I know you don't. I didn't mean to offend you when I said that. I have a son. If I saw my son being killed by somebody, I don't know how I would behave. And I don't have a mental history. Well, some might argue that I do, but I don't. So
Oh my God.
my point is,
See,
I'm sorry.
that type of event would trigger a normal person, let alone a person with a history of mental illness.
Can you walk me through that a little bit more? Taking into account what the family has said in your investigation as to what happened at that point. So he watched the video. He had to be driven home because he was so distraught. He was taken back to wherever that was, wherever they watched the tape.
To get his vehicle.
To get his vehicle.
Correct.
And then at that point, did he go straight over to UC?
He's going home.
He was going home.
Which would take you that route.
Okay. So he was going home, but on the way home is when he took a detour and went to UC.
No, that is not a detour.
Okay, what was it?
That's on the way home.
Okay, so he's driving on the way home past UC.
Correct.
And what happens?
There's a claim that when he was on Martin Luther King Drive, he stopped his car and he accelerated and struck a police officer, or Hamilton County Deputy Sheriff. That's the claim, and that's what the video depicts.
So tell me more about that investigation, your side and what the family says and what he says about that.
The family doesn't know what happened then because they were not with him. So
wait, stop right there. Stop right there. He talking about the family doesn't know what happened then because they were not with him. Remember the police chief talking about he left with his family following him. Like this. But
yeah, they said they was following him. Yeah.
But the first article that they put out, he said that, well, no, he left and nobody saw him since the accident. So now he said first, and they say, well, nah, his family was following him. Now he's saying it again. So that's what makes me think like this whole thing is like somebody said it, might have been a psyop. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go too deep.
You know what? I that's kind of what I felt too. I felt like it was like some old weird
like some
candidate
MK Ultra, you know what I'm saying, Mancurian candidate.
Yeah,
I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole, but there have been, I've studied how they use, people, they hypnotize them, they give them a certain serum, and then next thing you know, they go out and do something crazy, right? But
he's telling him he shouldn't talk. That's another thing that the lawyer saying he shouldn't say anything. I think he told did you see that where he told him
he shouldn't be saying nothing though. Like I've
right.
never lawyer get on TV and just discuss a case. Like,
he told the lawyer told Roy is his name Roy Hitton Jr. or
Rodney
that he told him not to speak. He said don't say anything. But now he's on the news. Sounding crazy.
You definitely don't need to be saying nothing, man, because right now, like I said, I don't know what he doing. But like somebody said he was trying to get some fame. Troy Lee said this nigga fired.
This probably is the biggest case he's ever had in his life. Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he won the lottery for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure. What happens is they probably put it into a bag and everybody gets to pick who gets to take the case. I'm not sure how they assign those cases. And this is probably the biggest thing he's ever done. So, he jumped right onto the news station and looking crazy.
I don't know, man. How many minutes you got left? Let's finish this. Okay,
because it's let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, we got about a minute left. Let's listen to it.
Okay, because it's gut wrenching. It's cringy for me to watch. I'm like, oh my God, what?
That is a claim that is made by the government. Now, have I verified for a fact that has actually happened? No, because I haven't seen all of the discovery. But based on what I've seen, that is the claim.
Okay.
What I do know is his state of mind based on speaking to family members and based on speaking to him.
And you've talked to him since?
I try to.
Does he talk?
I can't
Without
disclose,
giving us any information.
I would be giving you attorney-client privilege,
Okay.
especially when not guilty by reason of insanity or competence is at issue.
Is it not guilty by insanity, attorney-client privilege? Why are you?
Me to discuss whether or not I believe he was competent. I'm not going to get into that.
Okay. Now, let me just say, this conversation was about an hour long. And if you're sitting at home and you're thinking the question, I probably asked that one. So it's coming up. Okay.
So there's a longer interview. Oh my God. So how he interviewed, he talked to, what the hell?
He talked for an hour about nothing. Well, I haven't seen it. I haven't got all the evidence, but based on what I've seen, that is the claim. Like, so if somebody's claiming something,
an hour of that, an hour of I don't know. And so why you don't know, what the hell are you on the internet for, or whatever news station talking this bullshit? So that's crazy. Oh my God, I would be so pissed off. His family should be pissed off at that. His family should be like, why is your lawyer on the news talking about your case? You don't see the other side. You don't see the prosecution talking about the case.
No.
What they do is they have a what's it called? They have a press conference after they leave the station, and that's it.
That's it. A press conference. That's it. And they don't say nothing about what they plan on, how his client was feeling. He talking about, well, through my eyes, I'm looking through his mind, my client. See, how you know?
You not no psychiatrist.
You just basically said he not talking. You know what I'm saying? That's what you said in a nutshell. He not talking to nobody. So yeah, this once again, I don't know the man.
And that's sad. That is sad right there. And I hope that he does not lose this case because he's got a lawyer that's faulty.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying, but I'm just like everybody in the comments. Hope he'll be he'll be safe in there.
Yeah, hopefully they're not beating him up because he looked like he was banged up. I'm not sure if that was from the accident or if they like roughed him up a little bit, getting out the car or what, because I heard stories that they were like kind of, it was a big deal when they with the police, showing up there. So
yeah, ain't no telling what happened, man, and ain't no telling what will happen.
And that's probably why they ain't showing no video. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably rushed to that car and pulled him out. Get out, get out, get out. All kind of wild stuff. So, and then you have another case with the young. Is there anything new with the young white man that was knocking on doors and stuff like that?
Oh, up there in Virginia.
Yeah.
No, I had hollered at his brother. His brother had hit me up, and he was like, "Well, we've been advised not to say too much about it." So, I kind of left it alone to some more, I guess, news come out about it. But I shared the link that they got for the brother.
Seemed like that family got a good lawyer because the fact that the family knows not to speak on it, that seems like
He said,
but this guy is not even informing the family not to speak out. They're not. He's on the news. Like, it's just stupid. Just a bunch of stupidity going on. Is there anything that so now that they found out who that cop is he going up for any kind of trial or anything?
Nobody see, but they ain't nobody acknowledging that though. Like everybody is. Like when I put out the information today about the matching tattoos and other people from Cincinnati saying, "Okay, this is the guy." Everybody was like, "Well, you don't know that, this, that, and the other." White people have a plausible deniability. You know what I'm saying? You can sit there and show them something is wrong. They're going to just explain it away or act like it's not there. So that's what I'm seeing now. We going try to.
Who is this Al Padre? Who is this? Come to the asylum. We are alive. Come on the panel if you dare. Are you scared? Who is this? You know this person?
Who is that?
Somebody about the asylum or something. I don't know what this is. Come to the asylum.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Come fight PUSSY. You ain't tough. Like who is this? You're about to get blocked. I don't know who you are. But what I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know them neither. But that's why sometimes I be ignoring them because I don't even give them the attention. But Yeah, that's a troll. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, man, that case got a lot of moving parts. Hopefully this coming up week I'll be able to, really get some intricate details, about it. And talk to some people on the ground and really, see what, because like the streets talk, you know what I'm saying? So certain people in the streets, they're not gonna say nothing on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna tell what it's a saying to say, those who don't those who know don't talk, and those who talk don't know.
Right, exactly.
I kind of take that into consideration. But sometimes when people start digging, like myself, then I just tell you what I found. I ain't saying it's true or not true. I ain't saying like,
allegedly, right?
Allegedly. I ain't saying that's the officer, but look,
everything today is alleged.
I see a tattoo on the left arm coming out the car, and I see a tattoo on his arm, left arm, same spot of him on that bicycle. So you know what I'm saying?
Hello, like come on, man. Common sense.
1 + 1 = 2, unless you're using Chinese math. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to go on right now. So hopefully somebody will be able to confirm that, but it's already been confirmed that he has been the subject of a lawsuit using excessive force as late as February of 2023, almost 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. So, and he was on the scene of another shooting, before that. And so, he definitely has a history. And so, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, if you put it in water, it's probably going to swim or float.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But, so listen, I really appreciate you coming on. I really wanted to promote your site again. People, please check out his site. Hold on, let me get it up again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting. Yeah, we got to do this again, though. Yeah, we got.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this could be a series. We could just keep talking about this stuff.
Yeah. I like this. I like the conversation. I definitely like the conversation.
Yeah. Normally I would drop the link, but you got trolls here. I don't want people coming up with no bullshit. So normally I'll drop the link and have anyone ask questions. Are you okay with that, or?
Yeah, drop the link. Where?
Onto if you had to do it on your channel, because all the people are on yours.
Yeah. We can do. Yeah, we drop the link. To what? To the video?
No. Click StreamYard and then put it into the chat.
I didn't. I ain't streaming live on mine.
Yeah, you are. So, but it's not going to show up. I have to go to your channel and do it. Hold on, let me see.
StreamYard and what? Oh, you mean share the link to the video in the
chat? No, share the link. Hold on, let me see. If anyone wants to come up, if they have any questions, let me see.
Oh, you mean like get on live with us?
Yeah, here I'm gonna put it in there. Here I go. So if anyone wants to come up, if they have any questions about any of the shows you've done in the past, any things that you want to clear up that you are interested in. If you are weird, you will get dropped down and banned. You'll never be able to come up again. So come on, drop the link. Come on, anyone wants to come up. So again, let's really promote this sub again. Yes, also you guys, please sub to my channel, because if you guys are on his channel, we're simul streaming this. Please go to DJ Genesis Detroit and subscribe to my channel, because we're going to be doing more of these things. Let me see. Also, please check out this Taylor House Publications, and let me go to your page right here. These are his books. Blue Lights in My Rear View. Blue Lights in My Rear View is a story that chronicles the history of police towards Black men in America, with the recent constant murders of Black men by police that have been caught on video. There's an exposure to the world of a larger phenomenon in America that has been secret too long. So he is busting open the understanding about police, the actual police state. And then he has another one, wrongfully accused, rightfully acquitted, where he talks about being wrongfully accused of, assault. And so then, and how he was able to get out of that situation, brushes with death, all these different things. He has various books. So please, and he has a mission. He actually helps out people in the community. He works with I'm sorry. And so I'm showing this, and y'all haven't been seeing what I'm showing. I was steady like going through the website, and y'all haven't even been seeing it. So
yeah, you was.
My bad. So let me do it again. So again, this is his book. If you go to Taylor House Publications, you'll see this book that he wrote, Blue Lights in My Rear View. And then he has his other book, Wrongfully Accused, Rightfully Acquitted, where he got himself out of a bind with the law enforcement, and was able to get out of that. Son of a Preacher Man. I mean, various books that you could do. And he also helps to publish books as well. Please check out his website to see the things that he's doing. He also is a community activist. He works in the community. Richard Taylor is a very you could tell that he's doing the work. He's doing the work. He's not just talking about it online. He's actually doing stuff and working in the community and doing things. So I didn't see anyone come up. So no one's come up. So I guess no one wants to ask me questions.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I got I got another interview coming up about 9:00. So I got an interview with another lady, who asked us up. But I definitely appreciate you. I don't know who Italy Armstrong is, but I don't know if that's your real name. But I guess you'll be the first person I said. My daughter's named Italy. I named her that. So I'm trying to think. I know one more other person named Italy. So that's your name. That's a nice name. But yeah, I just noticed that in the chat. But yeah, definitely I appreciate you. I really appreciate you, for this this opportunity. We definitely going to do it again. I thank y'all for checking in with us in the chat, interacting with us, and dropping some knowledge in there. Yeah, I've been looking at the comments, so everybody kind of got some great ideas, great perspectives on this. So the more we talk about it, the more we'll be able to get on one accord, as somebody put it, get on code. So
for sure, and we definitely need to start to I want to also, as we do these do this on a regular basis, I want to start showing people examples of what not to do, so that people don't get hemmed up. So, not just only talk about what's going on in the news, but what not to do. Okay, probably even show them, hey, this is why this is not a good idea. Don't do this. Don't do this. So
definitely.
All right, much love. Great to having you, Richard.
Definitely. So I enjoyed it, man. I love y'all. I love everybody out there, man. Black power, black love, black peace, black unity, man. All of that good stuff.
And you can tell it. You can give a scripture at the end. We will just end it right there. Okay. You always start your thing off with a scripture, so go ahead.
All right. What's a good scripture for this one? Fret not yourself because of evildoers. I think that's Psalm 37. But fret not yourself because of evildoers. They seemingly prosper, but they wither away like grass. And don't quote me on that, but that's in Psalm 37. So, I know a lot of people just want to do something, sometimes, and I be getting to that point too. But we can't fret ourselves. Like they going wither away. Their time is up, as somebody put it. So, we just got to worry about what we got to do for each other. And evil destroys itself, basically. You know what I'm saying? Evil destroys itself. So that's it. Fret not yourself because of evildoers.
I
am blessed to make money, making money, making money, making money, making money, manifest, making money, making money, making money, making money. I ain't stressed, making money, making money, making money, making money. Gratitude is my attitude. I'm making money move.